you doing?
Good. So what do you have here?
So we have a lot of stuff actually. So in the first bed we have herbs.
Wow. Okay, that's good.
All right,
Yep.
and then this is a special kind of mint plant. It's a lemon mint, so it's not as pungent as a regular mint, but it's a nice thing to put on top of desserts.
Let's do that.
All right.
So you had a recipe for this with oranges. So tell me that again.
I do. So a friend of mine who is Iranian made this wonderful, simple dessert. It's just you take an orange, slice it up, make a little sauce with honey and water, just so it has still a syrupy consistency. Put cinnamon in it, drizzle it over the orange slices, and put mint, chopped mint on top. Really great summer dessert.
Gonna try that.
All right, we have chives.
Chives I always make. I'm gonna make some bacalao salad, and we could use some chives in there.
Is that good?
Nice, good, yeah.
We have basil, and I just planted another one last night.
I can always use a little bit of basil, just a little top.
So how many of these will do you?
Basil is so good with some pasta and shrimp.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's good.
Nice. So I was gonna, actually this really needs to come out now.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
The whole thing has to come out?
Yeah, lettuces you usually, plant, you harvest, and then plant new ones. So I'm gonna, actually,
Exciting.
we can take the leaves off later, but this all needs to come out now. And the same thing, we can take one of the arugula out. So I'll just cut a few.
Yeah, I don't need a ribbon for that. Very nice.
Is that good?
Yep, that's
Alright.
perfect.
Then these are peppers. So this one's that's an eggplant, and these are hot banana peppers. So
Also, they're spicy.
yep.
So I could take one of those,
Sure you.
or two, or three.
Because I already picked some from this, so I already have.
Okay, I'll take those two. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use. If you want to give me one more, I make sofrito.
What, can I get sofrito
So
then?
you can get some sofrito.
All right, I'll get that trade.
Very cool. See.
This is actually an Asian pear tree. So this is one of the pear trees. I have
Oh my gosh!
I have 9 fruit trees on the property.
So what's the difference between a regular pear and an Asian
So
pear?
an Asian pear it looks different. It's round, same kind of coloring, but it has a very hard exterior.
Take a look.
Well, they're not.
Not yet. Not ready.
I mean, they get like this big.
Oh, okay. So they're not there.
So they're not there yet. And that's an apple tree, I believe.
Wow.
I don't see any apples yet.
No. Any tomato?
No tomatoes yet.
Okay. So that's
That's what's growing here. And this is a
Fig tree.
Fig tree.
So, I use figs to make vegan cheesecake.
So
To sweeten the cheesecake.
the figs usually come out at the end of the summer, so August.
All right, so then we'll make some then.
Yep.
Thank you, Trustee Howell,
You're welcome.
sharing your garden goodies with us.
Absolutely.
And I have to go back home and see what I can make with this.
The one part of the day not right.
Garden heaven.
Wow. So this is our berry patch. We have mint and strawberries, and there's a little blueberry bush that hasn't done a whole lot yet.
Okay.
And blackberries here.
Mm-hmm.
And then along the back we have tons of raspberries.
I see green tomatoes.
Yeah, we have green tomatoes. They're not
Right, yeah.
Have you ever made fried green tomatoes?
My grandmother used to make those all the time. They were so good. And she
How
used
do
to
you
make
make it?
green tomato jam too. That was so good. She just battered them and fried them up. It was
So good.
really easy.
So I'm thinking about it. I want some.
And she would put like raspberry jam on top, so you would get this like sweet and salty.
See, that smells delish. Beautiful. Mmm. I pulled one.
That's okay.
I want to make some fried green tomatoes.
Please.
It just came right off. So can I take 2 of these?
Big ones.
What else do we have?
So lots of different tomatoes. It's like 5 different kinds of tomatoes here.
Yeah.
I have basil. This is celery. It's almost ready.
That is so cool.
Zucchini is here.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see some little babies in there. Got some baby broccoli.
I see some broccoli there.
Carrots are here, but
Nice.
they're not quite ready yet.
Nope.
This will be Brussels sprouts.
Okay.
Lettuce, that's just about done at this point. So,
That's so cool.
and watermelon at some point, I think. Little baby, where did it go? That and where is it? It's all covered up. This is a watermelon plant.
That's cool. So you're gonna have to invite me back when you have stuff that's
Yes,
grown
it's
up.
still like it got a slow start
and I'll
this
be
year.
back.
So I think like in a few more weeks there's gonna be a lot of stuff ready.
All right, that's good. Get ready for the garden contest. We're gonna have.
Oh, exciting.
Yes, we're gonna have a garden contest.
It's been a lot of time this year, kind of like cleaning it up and getting it
Yeah,
put
yeah.
together because I didn't do anything in the last year.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Oh my gosh, that is beautiful.
There is
too.
nothing like.
I can make some pesto sauce.
Oh yeah, definitely. That sounds perfect. Or throw some basil on your fried green tomato.
I need some mozzarella cheese with the tomato and some basil.
Celery. That's
That is
really,
so amazing.
really well.
That's great.
All right, you hold that. I'm gonna look at this. I have some more of these inside.
So thank you for inviting me over to see your beautiful garden. So whenever I cook, I like to have a little something to munch on. So I think we'll have some olives and a little bit of cheese today. And I just got some nice new Tuckahoe knives. Not a commercial or anything, but nice and new and sharp. So I think we'll have a little bit of, I always keep my cheese on hand, so we'll have a little Parmesan Reggiano and a little cheddar. So this is not, anything you need to keep. So of course I love to keep my scrap pail on the counter whenever I cook, so I can just dump in anything that's easy. A little bit of cheese. And I do have a cheese knife. Anyone's interested in knowing what that looks like? Cheese knife looks like that. So, got a few pieces of cheese there. clean. Put this away. I always like a few olives. Normally I'd have some bread, but I'm trying to cut back on the bread a little bit. Have some olives. And I happen to like these Trader Joe's pitted Kalamata olives. They have olive oil. Put some of those in there. That away. So, put this to the side while we're preparing. So let's see what we got from our garden. I'm excited. So, we got some celery from one of our neighbors, Sarah Javis. I wish you could smell this through the camera. And I also got some basil from Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. Oh, that is amazing. This is like pesto sauce heaven here. So these have to be washed. You see the little garden bugs are out. And I'm excited to make some fried green tomatoes. Oops. Some fried green tomatoes with these beauties. This is my veggie wash I use to wash my veggies. And then here, she gave us some snap peas. I love snap peas. I love to make pasta with shrimp and snap peas in it. Really delicious. So we have our snap peas here. Very beautiful. By the way, I know these are not good for the environment, so I just try to use them as much as I can, get a lot of use out of them. So these are beautiful. Look at these. See these snap peas, really nice. So for those who don't know what the inside, see the little peas inside. That's what that looks like. Really good, really tasty and sweet. Let's see what else we got. And so Trustee Renee Howell donated some goodies too. Let's see what we got from her. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. So we got some oregano. Let's see if we can get this out. Oh my gosh, that is so yummy. Just gotta cook those up. And I think she also donated some basil for us. Let's see what we have here. I have some basil. These smell really delicious too. Put those over there with your friends. And she gave us some peppers, hot peppers. I'm from Puerto Rico and we make sofrito. So sofrito we cook with practically everything. We use it to make all of our sauces, our stews, our beans. We love rice and beans. And sometimes I make two separate sofrito batches. I make one with hot peppers and one without. So maybe we'll use some of these for that. And let's see. What the heck is this? This is the mint. Talked about the fresh mint. It does smell pretty good. To make the dessert she mentioned, maybe we'll try the oranges with honey and some mint on top, and some chives. Who doesn't love chives? I love chives. So delicious. Smells delish. So there we have it, a bounty of greens. So now let's wash everything up. So we're gonna use some of these fresh herbs and especially the chives to make some salted codfish salad. So for those of you who don't know, it's just regular codfish that is dried and salted, and it's salted to preserve it. And so you have to boil out the salt in order to make it edible. So what we do in Puerto Rico, you see all the salt in there? We love to make bacalao salad. And bacalao salad is very popular in Puerto Rico. We love to have it for breakfast. We can have it with green bananas, and we're gonna have it today the typical way that we make it, with boiled cooking bananas. So the cooking bananas are just green bananas that are not ripe yet, obviously. You boil them, you saute some Spanish onions, and with a little olive oil, salt, you're good to go. And then we're going to make the batata, which is sweet potato, but this is the white kind, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. But in the meantime, first let's wash off the salt. So now once you wash the saltfish off, there it is, it's just fish, saltfish. And we're going to boil out the salt so that it's edible. So we'll put it in the pan. What we're gonna do is we're gonna have to boil it a little. So you want to put some water in the pan, and it should cover the fish. Pretty much cover it. You're gonna cook it for 10 minutes. Dump the water, add more water, and cook it for another 10 minutes until the salt is pretty much out. So, put the timer on. Here we go. Now, a little trick. Sometimes when you're boiling water or you're cooking something and it boils over, this is a trick, and I'm not 100% sure why it works, but it works. You put a wooden spoon on top, and it won't spill over. Now we want to make the boiled bananas and the sweet potato to accompany the salad, the codfish salad. So we want to get a pot of water, and a trick my mom showed me. In order for the bananas not to get brown, they turn brown when you peel them and the oxygen hits them. She taught me a trick. Add some milk to the water, maybe 2 tablespoons, and it'll keep it from turning dark. You could see it there. So we'll let that boil. So we're gonna make we'll make 2 of these bananas. Just wanna slice them for those who are trying to figure out how do you get those, when they're not ripe, they don't easily peel off. So you make 2 slits on each side, and then you can just, with your fingers, sort of work it out. Good job. Usually leave them whole, them in the water. As I'm cooking, this is my garbage pail. Food scrapping, it's fun. So in the kitchen, very important to have good utensils, good knives that are sharp, so that it makes cooking easier and fun. So there you go, fast, easy. Put that in the water, dump this out. Helps you stay clean as you go. So now the sweet potatoes, you can do one of 2 things. I never mind peeling with a knife, just because I'm used to it. I've been doing it this way forever. But if you're not comfortable peeling using a knife like this, you can then use a peeler. But it's not my preference. I prefer the knife. I feel I have a little more control, so that's my preference. Do what makes you feel comfortable. Alright, so I'm going to peel these off. Now, as soon as you begin peeling these, they start to turn brown. So that's why it's good to have the milk in the water. It doesn't change the flavor, but it helps it keep its color. So you see this side is nice and white, then it's starting to turn on this side. Still going to be yummy though. Okay, Put this in there. Sometimes I'll just cut them in half so they'll cook faster. And we'll do another one. There you have it. Alrighty, so we'll let that cook. And that's probably gonna take around 20 minutes or so. So as we're cooking the bacalao and we have the other stuff boiling, the bananas and the sweet potato, we start to cut up our veggies for the salad. So again, I keep my pail on the counter so that it makes life easy. Just throw everything right in there. Bacalao salad is going to call for some peppers. You can use tomatoes, onions, and some chives. Chives are really good for that. And we're gonna use some from Trustee Renee Howell's garden today. We're going to put some onions in there. So now the thing I like about onions is that the onion teaches you where to cut it. And if you look closely at the onion, see the little lines on it? It's telling you where you can cut. So you just start to so now the thing about this salad is that you want everything diced finely. So we're going to cut the onions along the lines. And then once you're done with that, you want to begin to dice. So let's see if we can do this. Usually for 8 ounces of codfish or saltfish, you use 2 eggs. So you're gonna put this into the same water that you're cooking the codfish in. The salt in the water helps you peel eggs better. So whenever that's a little tip, when you're boiling eggs, if you want hard boiled or soft boiled eggs, add some salt to the water and it'll help the peel come out faster. Now we're going to use some peppers. So you can use any color bell peppers that you like. There's orange, red, yellow, and green. Today I'll just use some green and red, a little bit. And these are all washed already. Washed them with my little veggie wash that I love very much. It takes all the wax and the dirt and all of that off. So again, these 8 ounces of salad, you don't need a lot of pepper because you don't want it to overwhelm the flavor of the fish. So just a small piece will do for both. There you go. And we just want to do the same kind of. So it's time to change the water for the fish. Okay. All these colors around me is so beautiful. I love it. So sometimes I'll go to the farmer's market on Sunday, and if they have a bounty of peppers and veggies that I really love, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with them, I'll come home, I'll wash them up, I'll dice them or slice them if I wanna make quesadillas at some point, and I'll freeze them so that they'll be able to be preserved. So we have the farmers market in Tuckahoe on Sundays through November from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. every Sunday. So get out there and you get some goodies. All right, so these are pretty good. That's diced there. And I also love to have some Spanish onions in the salad. So these are also great in there. Gives it that nice sweet flavor. So we could give just a few of these in there. Now some people like to buy their onions already cut up or diced. I like to cut them up myself. It's more fun. So now I know you guys are going to learn more about the food scrapping program, but I love to food scrap because it helps me see how much food I'm putting into my body that is fresh and grown versus packaged food. So I have this little competition with myself to see how much more do I use the food scrapping bin than I do the garbage can. So your goal should be to have more fresh. It's just beautiful. So I'm gonna get some of these chives in there. It smells so good. Now you have to be careful with the chives because you already have onions twice, and chives are pretty much onions. So if you don't like the strong flavor of onion, then you just want to use a little sprinkling of chives. Not overdo it. I like onions. Now we want to taste after the 2 10-minute boils. We want to taste the codfish and make sure that it's not too salty still. So you want to make sure when you taste the codfish after 2 times of boiling for 10 minutes each, that you taste the thickest part of the codfish, so you can make sure that it's not too salty. Because you can't take salt away, you can always add salt, but you want to be careful that it's not too salty. So let's check it out. Take a little piece here. It's good. So we're gonna make some codfish salad. So for those of you who know me, I love kitchen gadgets. So my friends just always give me, for my housewarming gift, they brought me these beautiful stainless steel bowls. I love stainless steel bowls. One thing that I would like for us to use today see here if I can find it. So here, we're gonna also put some garlic in there. And this is a garlic peeler. If you've never seen one before. So the way this works, garlic peeler. You put the garlic inside. I'll show you a few. So this is the garlic head. I know this might seem like elementary, but some people just don't know because they don't cook. So the entire garlic head This is the entire garlic head, and these are garlic cloves when you break off the little pieces. So if you take a few of the cloves, you put them in this garlic peeler with the skin and everything. Put it in there, and you roll. Then when you take it out, they're peeled. Pretty cool. So we're gonna take, I think 2 garlic cloves are pretty good to put in there. Not everyone likes to put garlic in it, so if you're not fond of garlic, you don't have to, it's not gonna make it taste worse. I like garlic, so I like to add garlic to it whenever I make it. So now I don't want the garlic to overpower the dish. Probably use just one. So if you want the flavor of garlic to be really strong, then you just don't dice it. You crush it like this. When you do that, it really brings through the flavor of garlic, and then you can dice it. So if you're gonna make pasta or any dishes that call for garlic bread, then you wanna crush it first and then dice, and it's gonna really, really bring out the flavors of the garlic. It's not gonna be as strong as if you just dice, the way I'm doing now. You know, I have these beautiful tomatoes here. I think I will use one in the codfish salad. The good thing about this salad is that it's very forgiving, so anything that you love, you can add to it. If you don't like tomatoes, don't add tomatoes. If you don't like Spanish onions, just add the regular onions. If you don't like eggs, you don't have to add eggs. The important thing is for you to add the flavors that you love, and that'll work. So we're going to, I'm gonna add some of this tomato. It smells delicious. And again, you want to, it's only a little bit of everything because you don't want the fish to be overpowered by any one flavor. But adding all these flavors together really gives it such a beautiful flavor. Ready to put the fish in a bowl and to mix this up. So you want to just take the fish out, make sure you get the water. Make sure there's not a lot of water. So that's pretty much what it looks like once it comes out. It's just the fish, and then you're going to flake it up. We want to check on the boiled bananas. Let's see if they're soft. You just take a spoon, and if the spoon goes right through without any challenge, then you know they're good. And you'll see that the milk helped the banana keep its color, so it doesn't look all brown and yucky. It's pretty beautiful. Usually the boiled bananas will take less time than the sweet potato. So just want to leave those in a little longer. So the good trick, if you're making ensalada de bacalao, that's how we call it in Puerto Rico, codfish salad. If you're making it, it's good to know that it takes about 20 minutes for the green bananas to cook. So once you put the codfish in to boil, from the moment that they begin to boil, that's timing for the green bananas, because you're boiling the codfish twice for 10 minutes. So about 20 minutes or so, that should be done. And then the sweet potatoes, they usually take just a little bit longer, not too much. If you want to make any of these dishes that you've seen me make at the library or here in my home, invite me over and I'll show you how to do some things. Or invite me over and teach me some tricks. We don't want these to dry up. I love olive oil. I love olive oil, all kinds of olive oil. This is just a little extra virgin olive oil that I'll just drizzle over to preserve the vegetables from getting dry. And in Puerto Rico, we love to use olive oil on a lot of our dishes, so you just put it in there and then just toss it a little bit. And that's it. So let's check on these eggs now. So I usually put some cold water in a bowl to peel the eggs so I won't burn my fingers. And as you can see, putting the eggs in salt water helps it to peel much easier. Comes right off. Rinse them out in there. Then I'll just throw them right in on top of the codfish. Because everything is just going to be broken down and it's just going to all just melt one into the other and just be tasty. You're gonna have to dice up the eggs also. We just have a way of doing it, and my mom taught me, she would just dice it right in her hand. You don't have to, they're very hot. I feel like I don't have feeling in my fingers anymore because I do this all the time. So now you want to break up the codfish because it's in fillet. You don't want the codfish to be in fillet, you want it to be sort of broken up. You want to add some olive oil in there. That's probably about 2 to 3 tablespoons. I love olive oil, so I tend to put a lot. Toss that in there. And then you're gonna put all the yummy veggies in. Mix it up. Taste it, see if it needs a little salt or pepper, and you're good to go. Mix that all in there. All the yumminess. Break that down a little. Isn't that beautiful? You have your green chives and peppers, you have your red peppers and tomatoes, and I think it calls for a little more olive oil. There you have it. And then, so we have a couple more things to do for this meal. So this is a very typical dish, as I mentioned, in Puerto Rico. We love to make ensalada de bacalao. I love it also because it's very protein rich. You have the fish, you have eggs in there. So it's one of my favorite dishes. Grew up eating. And then, so now for this, the boiled bananas and the sweet potato, we're going to make some Spanish onions and olive oil, sort of sauteed, and that's going to go on top with a little bit of vinegar. We're just going to cut just a little bit of the onions. And the onions you want to have pretty much sliced. So just like that. Yeah, you just don't want them to be too thick. You want them to be nice and thin. And we're going to saute them in a little bit of olive oil and put them on top. Really tasty. So we're just going to add a little olive oil and put the onions right in. Just want to saute them down. Let that cook a little bit. You just want to cook them down so that you don't want them to get too soft. You want a little bit of crunch. So I'd say probably around 3 to 4 minutes. You can literally just take them and throw them right over. It's really beautiful in there. And I like a little bit of acidic flavor, so I like to put a little bit of apple cider vinegar, just like a capful. So one of the things that we love in Puerto Rico are plantain. So plantain you can find at the local Stop and Shop, they sell them. You can find them green, and we use them green to make what we call tostones. So it's fried and seasoned with salt, and we use some other seasonings like adobo or sazon to give it flavor. But you can also let it ripen. If you buy it green, just let it sit, ripen it, and then just fry them in a little oil and serve them next to rice and beans. I like to eat them with a salad, and they're so delicious because they're so sweet. You can use canola oil, olive oil, corn oil. I know everybody has feelings about the different oils, but you decide for you. I usually don't use a lot of oil because it doesn't need it. And I like to slice them on an angle like this. I don't slice them too thin, but I don't like them too thick. But you can also slice them just straight down, which I don't like. That's not fun. I like it on an angle. Makes me feel fancy. All right, so just throw them in. So you want to wait until they're golden brown on the bottom before you turn them over, and that's typically around 2 minutes or so. You see there's not a lot of oil. You just don't need much oil. Sometimes people put too much oil to cook these. And make sure that before you put the sweet plantain in, that the oil is hot. You want to make sure that it's hot. So there you go. Turn them over. Everything does feel colorful and beautiful. Okay, so you have to make sure that you drain them. You know, they are cooked in oil. So if you are not eating fried foods, you can always boil these as well. They're really good boiled too. So now we're gonna plate it. So we have everything we need. We have our nice, beautiful codfish salad there. We have our boiled bananas and the batata, or sweet potato. And then we have our sweet plantain that we're draining here a bit. Okay, let's see what we got. I'm gonna put a little bit of Your bacalao in the center. Typically, I would serve this with avocado, but I didn't find any today, but it's okay. If you have avocado, you can use it, just usually I garnish it around. Some people like to dice it inside, that's okay too. You'll have to use that. You wanna, so you'll put in a little of the boiled banana and put some, you want to get some of these delicious onions in there. I like to garnish the sweet plantain around. And just add a few little fresh tomatoes in there to give it a fresh flavor. And there you have it. Ensalada de bacalao from Puerto Rico. So thank you for joining me in my kitchen today, and thank you to Trustee Renee Howell and Sarah DeReese for sharing their bountiful veggies from their garden with me. I look forward to seeing you again. Till next time. So why don't we try the dessert that Trustee Renee Howell recommended from her Iranian friend. She said we should put some honey, and I think I like to use raw and unfiltered honey. Put a little in there, a little bowl. She said to put a little water in there. I guess she said to make it sort of syrupy. Put a little water. Try that. She said a little cinnamon. Let's put a dash. See? More syrupy. We'll try them on some like that and some like that. Okay, so these are the lemon mint, I think she called it. Let's try it. Let's drizzle this over it. Let's give it a shot. Get some of that mint in there. That's delicious. It's fresh. I love this. As you can see, my pail is full. I've been using it. And now it's time for it to go down to DPW for the food scrapping bins. Just tie it up. And off we go.